Good day, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel. Time for a spot of royalty. The question this morning I want to address is, will Prince Andrew be stripped of his title? Here's an interesting graphic, okay, which goes into which royals should or should not receive public funding. 71% of the populace says the Queen should receive funding. 18% says no. 51% says Charles and Camilla should receive funding. 60% says William and Kate should receive funding. So William and Kate are more popular than Charles and Camilla. Less than 40%, only 38% say Harry and Meghan should receive funding. And almost 70%, 67% say Prince Andrew should not receive any public funding. That's a lot of money. Okay, that's like all his money. Let's read some stuff. More than half of the British public wants Prince Andrew banned from public events attended by the whole royal family, including Trooping the Colour and Remembrance Sunday. New poll revealed. So 51%. So at Trooping the Colour, Andrew stood right next to the Queen, right in the front, and they don't want him there. Here's another one. Queen cancels Prince Andrew's 60th birthday party in wake of disastrous Newsnight interview amid claims royal household is aggrieved at suggestions that the Queen sanctioned it. So I did a reading on this, and it showed that the Queen was aware. It's not clear that she had full knowledge of it. I suspect she did not. I suspect the royal advisors and her did not have full knowledge of it. So Andrew receives a $323,000 a year sovereign grant. Okay, but in addition to that, he receives lands that he lives on for free, security, which is huge amounts of money, travel, staff. He had rooms and offices and staff in Buckingham Palace, which were just moved out. So the $323,000 sovereign grant is like a drop in the bucket compared to all of the other costs: travel, flights, helicopters, cars, staff, security that he receives for free. Okay, now they're not abandoning Andrew. We just saw the Queen riding horses with Andrew the day after this disastrous car wreck explosion of an interview, and we've also seen Beatrice and Ito visiting Andrew. So the royal family is rallying around Andrew. So let's just ask some questions. Will Andrew be stripped of his title? Okay, because this is a big deal. Fergie was stripped of her title. Okay, and people say Diana was stripped of her title. She sort of was, but she sort of wasn't. Fergie, after her divorce and the toe-sucking and all the scandals, she was still identifying herself as the Duchess of York. The Queen had to write a decree in August 1996 to make sure that she could no longer use her title of the Duchess of York. So Fergie was actually stripped of her title. Diana, after her divorce, was stripped of the HRH, her Royal Highness designation, but she continued to be the Princess of Wales. Okay, so it's kind of a big deal to strip someone of their title. So will Andrew be stripped of his title? Big change. City, finger of God. Yeah, it would take a decree. Ooh, executioner. Keeping it close to the vest. Will Andrew be stripped of his title? Karmic shift, a big change right in the center for the world. Finger of God, reaching down, a decree. So it's going to take a decree. It's going to take a monarch, a legal decree. Executioner, finger of God, sun. Sun exposes all, man and veil, 25 spades. So they are considering this. This is in the near future position. They are considering this, but it would take a decree, just like the Queen had to make a decree for Fergie to no longer use the Duchess of York. That's what would have to happen for Andrew. The Queen would have to make a special act and reach down and take his title away. It's kind of a big deal. Okay, now all of Andrew's charities have left him, all of them. Okay, so it was like a boiling pot, and then Andrew did the interview, and everybody's like, oh, and so the pot boiled over. Will Andrew lose his sovereign grant of $323,000 a year, which Andrew lives like a billionaire, so he's got a lot more than $323,000 a year. I mean, he's flying in private jets everywhere. He has a ski chalet in Switzerland that he goes to every year. Will Andrew lose his sovereign grant? Which seems like a drop in the bucket compared to his real income. Okay, will he lose his sovereign grant? 4 diamonds, solid foundation, 4-leaf clover, luck and foundation, Mercury, 8 and 9, 17, 5 hearts. 5s are change, reacting to circumstances, handcuffs. Again, it's on the table, but there is nothing here indicating that he will lose it. We have the opposite of losing it. We have a solid foundation, and we have joining. He is joined to his sovereign grant. There is nothing. It's on the table. It depends how outraged people are. It's possible, okay, but there is no indication. Oh, all the cards fell out. There's no indication as of yet that they're going to do this. I think that the Queen does not want to take Andrew's grant away, because she's her son. Will Andrew be banned from key public events attended by all of the royals? Okay, these magnificent events like Trooping the Color, Remembrance Sunday, up at Sandringham, they always go. They make a big deal for the Queen's last day, and I'm not sure what they do, but there's hundreds of local people who do things, and all the royals come and appreciate, and it's great. It's good for everybody. Okay, it's good for everybody. All that pageantry, good for the royals, good for the locals, good for everybody. So and there's so much life in that. Will Andrew be banned from key public events attended by all of the royals? Just out of shame. There's a roadblock. Oh dear. And that's almost more important than the money. Because the crown, the Queen, Andrew, all of them, they're really just public figures at this point. They're really not wielding a lot of political power. They are public figures. And so not to be able to show up with the royal family, that's a really big deal. 2 5s, 2 change cards here. Ruler, the monarch, change. The monarch, change. 23, 6 clubs. Olive tree, the deeply rooted situation. The monarch, change, the deeply rooted situation. Decisions to block. This is the most likely thing that they're going to do. It looks like is banning Andrew from these big public things because they don't want him showing up there. What's hidden on the bottom? Queen of Hearts, woman, coffin, high tower. Officially ending it. The woman officially stopping it. 13 and 12, 25. This is the direction. This is what they're really thinking about. Is not allowing Andrew, to show up at all of the major events. Going to keep the money, is looking at stripping of it. That's a possibility, but it's a really big deal to strip him of his title. But it can be done by royal decree. So probably this can also be politicians. The politicians may have to get involved. So the Queen would have to put this forth. The politicians would have to sign it. It's a big deal. They don't want to do it, but if it gets ugly enough, they'll do it. Okay, finally, will Andrew be cut off from public funding? Okay, it's not just the $323,000. The security, okay, security is millions of dollars a year just for him. He lives in a house, I think, that is completely, he doesn't pay anything. He lives rent-free, I think. He has offices and staff that are all paid for. The offices are paid for. The staff is paid for. There are events. The Queen was throwing him a big birthday bash, which is now being canceled. Andrew, we're canceling your birthday. Wow. Wow, Mom, really? Okay, because the public cannot pay for it. So they're very concerned about what the public is seeing. So is Andrew going to be cut off from public funding? Ooh, earthquake. Okay, now we're getting down into the heart of the matter here. Okay, butterfly is very public. Hand in hand is all the people, and very public, and a disaster. 16, 4 spades. Ending, disaster, ending. This is the direction for all the people, very publicly withdrawing. Okay, so it does look like they are very much considering removing all the public funding. It looks like they're very much considering banning him from showing his face with the rest of the royal family at all these public events and removing public funding. Wow. That's a big deal. The sovereign grant looks very solid, but all of this is possible. And removing the title. So the sovereign grant and removing the title, it looks like he's probably going to keep the title. He's probably going to keep the sovereign grant. Showing up in public, that's going to stop maybe altogether or be greatly curtailed, and the public funding. So there's a lot of political pressure. That's what we're seeing. There's a lot of political pressure, and depending how bad that political pressure is what will happen. So let's review. I do see they are looking at stripping him of his title. Okay, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal to do that, and it's not decided with this 7 spades. It's not decided. Okay, so I think they don't want to do that. But it's possible. Will he lose his sovereign grant? This is really solid. These cards are really solid. But there is a 5 hearts. It's being considered. It depends how angry people get. Okay, how political and how angry. Will Andrew be banned from these key royal events? Yeah, this is blocked and this is ending. So he's not going to be showing up at all the events anymore. Okay, he's really screwed up. And some people are calling him his buffoon highness because he just says really dumb stuff and is really just... I know people like this. I personally know people like this. And, and I can totally see that because I was at high levels in government, and there are people like that who will just say the most outrageous things. And, and there's people in the world like Harvey Weinstein, and everybody knew what Harvey was doing. And that's really taking it to an extreme. But there's a lot of other people who are just kind of buffoons, and they walk around and say dumb things, and it doesn't even seem like they're there, like they're checked out, like they act like 2-year-olds. Okay, and that's kind of he was being called His Buffoon Highness by a lot of his aides. So he kind of acts very childish and very entitled. Anyway, so he's not going to be showing up at all the royal events. He may be banned from all royal events. Now, because of public pressure, it does look like public funding, this is definitely on the table. Cutting off public funding and being removed from public events, big public events. The other stuff is not so much. They're really trying to salvage what they can for Andrew. They're not trying to just cut him out, but they need to satisfy the public so that the royal family is not damaged too much, because that's the danger. The danger is that Charles and then Will and Kate are damaged so bad that the monarchy does not continue, and that's what they're trying to avoid. That's how I see it. That's your royalty today. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination, Fortune Telling, the Magi Method. Find the book worldwide on Amazon and Kindle and paperback versions. Find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. We've got other merch in the description. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe,